let's talk about how I started drinking, why I stopped, and surprising things I miss about it. Will I ever go back? Keep watching to find out. Compared to my peers, I started drinking a little later. For those of you who know me, I went to a very strict high school in Korea. So if you were caught dating, you get expelled. Imagine what would happen if you're caught drinking underage. So I learned how to drink in China, which, looking back, out of all the places I could learn, I don't know if it was the best place to do it. The summer of 2011, I was studying abroad, learning Chinese in Beijing. I was 20, just in the brink of turning 21, and kind of excited to see and explore this new territory, new country, new culture, and a new field of alcohol, drinking baijiu. It seemed like the cool thing to do. Plus, things were not as expensive. This could be a great place to test out my limits. I thoroughly loved my drinking personality. What I found out about myself is I'm a very happy drunk. When I drink and get drunk, I go around introducing myself and felt super confident. All of my worries were just gone. Taking bathroom selfies, giving hugs to strangers, showering them with compliments. What could go wrong, right? I was a social drinker. Whenever there's a social event, I loved getting everyone excited, having a good time. If I'm going to drink to the point that I get drunk. This was me when I was super naive. It took me some time to realize that every single individual has different history with their relationship with alcohol. I was very immature in encouraging others to drink with me. My whole idea of a great weekend, having a good time was, let's get drunk together. I'm Korean. I can drink this much. I don't get the Asian glow. For some reason, I took a lot of pride in those silly things. I even drank every day for a week on a yacht, floating around different islands in Croatia. Bad place to be. Yeah, that says a lot about how much I was involved in drinking in my 20s. So my friends didn't believe me that I cut off alcohol summer of 2022 and have still continued to not drink. I said goodbye to drunk Eugen ages ago. And you might be asking, what happened? Here's the short answer. I stopped drinking for my health. I was gaining a lot of weight. I just didn't like that anymore. The easiest thing to cut out of my diet was liquid calories. I can't see myself stopping after 1 or 2 drinks, so I might as well cut it all off. I'm gonna admit, I have an extreme personality, so when I go all in, I go all out. I was going the opposite extreme from being a very social drinker who wanted to get all my money's worth out of an event to not drinking at all. So was quitting alcohol hard? Yes and no. Yes, it was hard because I felt awkward, especially in business dinners where you are sitting with a client. You are celebrating an event. For instance, I was invited to a client's wine club. What am I supposed to do at a wine club? Just sip water? And in those moments, I felt somewhat guilty. What helped was at least having something in my hand that was non-alcoholic. I got better at asking for water, Diet Coke, or even virgin cocktails.
Said, this is the best non-alcoholic wine in the world.
I see. And if I'm holding water with a lot of ice, I would just say, cheers, tequila blanco. I slowly started to move away from having to explain myself and just being very simple. I'm not drinking today. At social settings, yes, it was hard for me to say no. I felt uneasy and a little nervous about not being part of this whole joyful community. But I found out that I'm very trained and skilled in being a disciplined person. I've been journaling for over 26 years. I've been seeing a therapist on a weekly basis for the past 10 years. And I've been reading and keeping my Kindle streak alive. So I know how to keep a habit going. If you're interested in dropping bad habits or continuing good habits, drop me a comment below and I'd be happy to make a video on that too. So what do I miss about drinking? There are 5 things that I miss about drinking. The first is the cultural aspect. Second, social. Third, eating out. Fourth, relaxing. And last but not least, escaping from reality. Every time I go to Korea, there's this one liquor that I love to get. It's makgeolli, or the Korean rice wine. If you know the Korean culture, you would know that our people are founded on rice, liquor, and having lots of fun.
Okay, let's go. 숟가락 하나만 주세요. 아니. 이렇게 해서 언니 숟가락 줘봐. 잠깐만. 나 놀랬어. 오, 내 히든 탤런트. 아, 이런 거 처음 봤어. 원래 이렇게 하는 거야? 아니, 나도 처음 봐. Thank you.
Here's an interesting stat from Drinks International on how much soju Koreans consume. Even if you go online, you will see celebrities with YouTube channels, and their whole channel is founded on them bringing another guest and having drinks together, getting drunk, throwing jokes here and there. The Korean culture is deeply ingrained in drinking. And because I couldn't be part of that all of last year, I felt that I was missing out at the core of who I am. I'm Korean. And of course, the most obvious, social aspect. This is probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of us find it difficult to stop drinking because of peer pressure, social anxiety, and just feeling like you want to be part of the crew by having a drink in your hand, getting drunk together, and having fun stories to tell. When I was living in New York City, all the events centered around having drinks, getting drunk, going out. Even if I think about my time in business school at Wharton, all these events had open bar, aka unlimited drinks. I was part of the wine club, and at the end of the year, they gifted me a free bottle of champagne because I had the highest attendance in the wine club events. Because I wasn't drinking in celebrations or big events, I felt that part of me was missing out on maybe 20% of having fun. Also, eating out felt very different. Experiencing delicious food around the world is one of my greatest joys in life. And because I couldn't do wine pairings at a restaurant, I felt that, oh no, I'm not getting the full experience. I somehow got that FOMO at a restaurant. To this date, the only restaurant that I've gone that had a non-alcoholic pairing was in Thailand. More restaurants should come up with this idea because the truth is, our generation is drinking less. And studies, statistics, news prove that time and again. Next is I miss somewhat relying on alcohol to relax. After a long week or really rough day at work, the last thing I want to do is think. And the easiest thing for me to escape from that reality was to rely on a nice glass of red wine, fill the tub with hot water. My little young self used to think that was the classy thing to do. But now that I stopped drinking, I had to look for other ways to relax. I miss escaping from reality. Sometimes life can just be really rough, and I don't want to think about all the thoughts that's going inside my head. Now, every day, I have to deal with my sober thoughts. And in my mind, I would plan out all the different types of scenarios. You know, when you feel a little nervous and anxious, your mind keeps spiraling down into the dark hole of the worst things that can happen. I need to stop doing that. And in my 20s, I definitely used alcohol as a way to escape from reality. I have a great memory, and sometimes I want to forget memories and things that happened in my life. I shared with you different aspects of what I miss about drinking. When will I go back? Will I go back? The answer is no. I said goodbye to alcohol for good because all the benefits I felt for myself in the past hundreds of days far outweigh the joys and the little funs I had here and there. I was able to save a lot of money. Going out in America, especially in cities like New York and Boston, is not cheap. Each drink is $16 plus. You gotta think about tax and tip and account for Ubers and Lyfts. Let's say
for drinks only, tax and tip, it's $50. Add another $50 for a round trip to a bar and coming back home, especially with the surge pricing. That's $100 for each night you go out. If you go drinking 4 times in a week, $400 in a given month.
That's $4,800 that you could be saving up for your trip, your education, your passion project, anything else apart from drinking. After I stopped drinking, I realized I have more time, especially on the weekends. I now enjoy starting my weekend sharp, fresh-brained, clear mind. I love going through my checklist of things to do on the weekends too. I also feel like I have better judgment. There's no more beer goggles in a date. It's a situation in which you find the person more attractive because of alcohol, not because of his or her qualities. I have never drunk texted or drunk called, but I've seen my friends do that, so I eliminate that opportunity of making mistakes. My skin is glowing and I lost some weight. I think I'm smarter now. I retain information better, my mind is sharp, and my brain likes that. If you watch this far and are considering not drinking anymore, then I encourage you to look into scientific research and studies on the benefits of staying sober. Our generation is drinking less, and for a reason. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, stay healthy and come back to my next video topic on...
Let's go! It's time to be the GOAT. It's time to enter God mode, man, let's get it going. I wanna be the greatest, energy is overflowing. I know I'm stoking the fire, my desire's taking over,